Hi there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we tie them to an item from somewhere in your house for a while. This is for either Ascension of the Lord Sunday or the sixth Sunday sixth Sunday of Easter, and using the same basic idea interwoven. And I'll look through some of the older Dollar Store Children's sermons and put some links on here. But this is the idea I was coming up with because both of the texts, even though on the ascension of Jesus talking about the ascension, but both of them, both texts for both gospel texts have this idea of this interwovenness of the Trinity, of God, Spirit, and Jesus, and also in the John text about on the sixth Sunday is about how we're in God, and Jesus is in God, and God is in Jesus, and there's this interwoven again about how we are in partnership with God and with Jesus and the Spirit, and we're woven together, and it feels like we are the hands of Christ in the world, kind of thing. So what I'm using, this is all based around the idea of, so the Dollar Tree had these a while ago, and I loved them, and it's science. It's basically the bird can balance on your finger, and it's all it is center of gravity and all that. So, and I've used this before, but what I want to do is I'm going to use, for today, I'm using two forks. You can use a fork and a spoon, and what you do with the two forks or the spoon, you bend one of the tines of the fork and you interweave the spoon. But let's say you have the two forks. This is going to be the scientific term. You cram the forks together. You basically put the forks in there so they're stuck. So like that. And then you can use a toothpick. I'm using a small little carpenter's nail. Toothpick is what some of the instructions have, but I'm using a carpenter's nail. And the carpenter's nail, basically you're looking for a place where it'll stick through, and it anywhere works. And you have it stuck through, and you're going to balance it on your finger. And I had this, and I'm going to see if I can get this to work. I might be too heavy on this side. There we go. Each place is going to have a little bit of a different balancing because of the center of gravity. But here, as you can see, it's working. I'll pull that up to the camera. And the idea is that each one of these things by itself, I couldn't get to balance this way. If I put the nail on my finger like that, it would just fall right off. If I put one of the forks right there, it'd just fall right off. If I put the other fork on, it'd fall right off. And the idea is, and this is where I'm looking at with the Ascension text, where the Father, Son, and the Spirit, the Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, they're all working together. And then there's you and me, that we're expected to take part in this and to play in this and to be amazed by what the Spirit and God and Jesus are doing. And I look at the text from the sixth Sunday of Easter and about how we are with God and God is with us and we are with Jesus and we're all interwoven and we are called to do wonderful and amazing things in the Spirit of our Creator. So that's the springboard I'm going with, is that it all comes together. And you could work it to where that it's in the hands of the Creator, and then there's the Sustainer, and then I mean, you could take this too far as well, but I just love this image. One of the texts, in the reading, it talks about the advocate, and I am going to link an older dollar store children's sermon that talks about gardening tools and things that are helpers, the things that we have to help us. And so that will also be a link. But this I really like because it's 3 separate things, 4 separate things when you count your finger. You could balance this on the edge of a glass as well, but balancing it on your finger is really wonderful. And you start off, they're all 3 separate, and then you piece it together, and then you balance it. And there's a point about all of this coming together. And I think it's important, too, that we as people of God, when we come together and God lifts us up as one. So, all right, that's my springboard for this week. I hope it can be useful for you. Thank you so much for coming by, and I am keeping all of you in prayer, and thank you for the wonderful work you're doing with your kids. I know they appreciate it. I know the congregation appreciates it. Thank you. We will see you next week.